My whole upbringing from the point of about 7 years old was in Scientology. And then my mother took me to the Sea Organization when I was 10. I grew up in the International Ranch. I was like a believer. I was all there. Like there's none of this like half-baked membership thing. Where I flipped from being a devout follower to somebody that just didn't want to be there anymore, with two things that happened. The first one, so I was down in the print shop at Golden Era Productions. We had this on-demand printing line for all of the audio-visual equipment that we would be making. And I think I was on day 5 of probably not sleeping. And here comes little Davy walking into my area. And he's asking me why I'm cutting the things the way that I am. This is after I'd been up for days. And he's like, you are altering this production line. He's yelling at me about this. And he says to me, he says, I ought to beat the shit out of you. And this was probably a month or two after he had hit Mark, like Mark Headley. And I thought, how fucking horrible is that? Like, how horrible is it that I'm being threatened by the Pope of our religion that he ought to beat the shit out of me? Like, how is that okay that he's sitting there doing that? And I just started thinking, like, this guy's a dickhead. Like, I have wanted to work. I'm up on like day 5 after not sleeping around the clock. And as opposed to finding out, like, hey, why is this not working right? Let's see if we can fix it. He wants to blame people. So that was number one. Number two, my ex-wife, she came, this was about 2 weeks later, came home, and Dave had yelled at her because he had to get his hair washed by the professional hairdresser that they pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars per haircut that comes up from Los Angeles. The guy washed his hair and he didn't get a chance to wash it himself. So he took it out on my ex-wife, and she came home in tears and wanted to blow. I want to blow. I was already at the point of like, I've had enough of this crap. And I was like, great, let's do it. I'll leave. And I just decided to leave. I just bought a one-way plane ticket when I was out on one of the manufacturing jobs I was doing to Colorado, where my family lived. And I left without being able to get in contact with him. I just bought a one-way ticket, and I was like, I guess I'll find him at the other side. And I was gone. And I knew how the blow drills worked. I would always be part of those blow drills. So I knew how fast I had to make it happen if I was going to go. And that's what I did. But it was very spur of the moment, but it all just came crashing down on me all at once, and I left. So if I had a different conversation with a different person than not Miscavage that day, if I had an executive come into my area and say, I see you're up all the time. Is this not working right? Let's fix this. Like, hey, you guys are working tirelessly for me. Let's make this better. And then if it was that the families weren't being torn apart and there was this whole, like, weaponize each other against each other situation, I would probably still be there. The fact that he was such an utter tyrant made it so that I got out of that situation. And I'm glad that I did.